Hello, chat. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. William, thank you for gift sub. And Rolf, thank you for gifting 5 subs. Dave, thank you for berries. Delphox, thank you for resubbing. William, thank you for resubbing. Monster, thank you for resubbing. I don't know why my leg's having trouble today. Maybe perhaps that will help. Not really. My leg is very drifty today. But why?
It just has the inspiration for deja vu.
Stop! Stop it! Why must you move? It says because I must. That's why. I must annoy you as much as possible. I've discovered the reason. It is my pants.
That might do it, yeah.
My pants leg keeps going over the tracker. Yeah. Well, I'm good to start whenever you guys are.
Yeah, I'm good.
I too am good.
Then you get on in there and get in
I'm gonna go
character.
run to my room.
Like,
You ready?
not really.
Oh, we're here, so might as well get to it.
I guess so.
I'm gonna be here the whole time, and I'm pretty sure you can just like walk out of these if you're can't handle it anymore.
Probably.
Do you know how any of this works?
Hell no.
At least we're on the same page. At least it doesn't seem like there's anybody else here.
I don't know, do we just wait here, I guess?
I guess?
I don't know. I don't know where... I've been here once, and I was only ever here, so... I don't know what all the other stuff is.
The training room and dorms. And the garden.
They're not here, then maybe they're just getting out of their room.
I have no idea. I've never even... I mean, I think I've met this person once.
Well... I don't know. Assumedly, we'll just wait, and eventually someone will point us in that direction. Unless we want to go looking ourselves, but I don't know this place, so you'd have to... Oh.
Afternoon. Well, I guess more evening at this point.
Space, time.
Yeah, it's a little weird. You know, it still weirds me out every time I stare out the window. Not really used to living in space.
I don't live in space.
But yes. Well, no. I remember seeing you at the onsen once, and you said ew at the mention of me being a therapist, but I see progress has been made.
I say you at a lot
At
of
least
things.
to some degree since you're here.
He can confirm.
She does.
Understandable. But yes, I am Amber, Amber Pyralis, the therapist here. Although it doesn't, you know, restrict me to only helping Aegis agents, so I'm happy to be of service.
Okay. I'm Cord, but I think you already know that.
Yes, I think it was Arbor who introduced us at the onsen.
Yeah.
However, I don't believe we've met before.
No, I'm Kleptis. I guess I'm her +1 for this therapy stuff.
It's perfectly fine. I would more openly recommend that people bring a support person if they feel more comfortable that way. So. I suppose we should get started at some point, so if you'll just follow me down to the offices.
Okay.
Hello?
I still remember drawing
I hope Slade is
her
doing well,
character
considering
reference.
He was the one who suggested me to you, and I haven't really heard anything from him in a good little bit.
He catches Pokemon now.
I heard about that. I still don't quite understand the concept of just what they are.
Play the documentary games.
I also only just recently understood what was it? Minecraft. I only just recently understood what that was.
You have a lot of catching up to do.
I most certainly do. Uh, as long as I've been, alive, there's still a lot of things that I don't know. So,
Small door. You know, the doors here are very
have a
inconsistent.
seat. They really are. It's that one took some getting used to. Just
They're either
having
too
to
big or too
memorize
small.
things. That's also a thing. I've noticed that too.
Waiting for like a teeny
There's,
tiny
like,
door.
1, 2.
Like a doggy door.
With how big the station is, I'm sure there probably is a teeny tiny door.
There's a doggy door somewhere. Somewhere.
Probably. Well, I suppose if you would like to make yourself comfortable. I believe eventually we did get beanbags.
Very clear beanbags.
Yeah.
They really blend in.
They most certainly do. It's just, Hybris didn't want to, ruin the look, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Got the
I guess more of a
jelly.
out of sight, out of mind sort of thing.
That makes sense.
I suppose we can start wherever you would like to with all of this, seeing as how I don't know pretty much anything about you.
I mean, I don't exactly know what. I don't know how this works.
It can work any realistic way you would want it to. With the other agents here, it's always been a little bit different with each one, so I sort of encourage whichever way you're most comfortable with. We can start with, I guess, a bit of a background of what brought you up to this point, or we can start with perhaps, what issues or struggles that you might be having currently, or the ones that are affecting you the most. It can pretty much start anywhere.
I mean, there's kind of a lot, I guess, to go over. And I don't
Well-
necessarily know that any part of it is specifically worse than the rest.
Then I would suggest starting wherever you feel makes the most sense to help me understand.
Hmm. I guess I'll start at the beginning then, I guess. I'm, a half-breed between two races that don't really agree. I'm sure you've heard of naiads at this point, considering you work here.
Yes, it has been mentioned.
I'm half naiad and half a dragon newt. They're warring, or I guess warring kingdoms, or they were, anyways. I don't know how much you know about their history. Probably not a lot.
I know a little bit, not all that much.
Well, the least I can give for context, I guess, is that I'm not sure how many years ago it was at this point, but years ago, when I was, I think, 6, the Dragon Newts decided they wanted to, well, before I was born, they decided they wanted to invade the Naiads. But they had a relic, or they still have a relic. It makes a giant bubble around their kingdom. They couldn't really get through it. The only way to get around that was to have somebody with the right affinity, or mixture of affinities. So they kidnapped my mom, and after trying over and over, they eventually made me. They separated me from her when I was 6. And they invaded the kingdom by getting through with me. And I mean, you already know the whole eradicating the entirety of their race mostly part.
Yes.
After that, I didn't really know what happened to my mom. Not for a long time. They used me as a battery to keep certain encampments safe with the relic. It was in like a cage, I guess, that was hooked up to it. At some point, Aegis found me. I think I was 13 or 14 at that point. After that, I stayed with a guard. One of the only dragon newt that was ever nice to me. His name is Barton. I stayed with him for a long time. And the person who saved me, one of the people who did, they set us up somewhere they wouldn't find us. At some point, that person died. And I started working at the Purple Lotus. After that, I met a woman named Corona. And at some point in Aegis, I met a girl named Noru. I found out Noru was my sister, my half-sister. She was my mom's other daughter. After learning from Corona how to fight and not be as weak, I guess, we went back to the kingdom to try and find my mom. My father rolled her skull towards me. And I'm not entirely sure if he's even dead. One of those wacky didn't see the body kind of things. After that, I didn't have a lot of connection to the naiads that were left. Noru died because of a accident, I think. I don't entirely know. I know it had something to do with her siren. Corona eventually adopted me. And then during the Zaris Wars, she died. And her not wife disowned me. Barton left to be the new king. And then I was alone for a while. Since then, I've pretty much just had the Lotus, and now I have some friends, I guess. Kleptis. So, that's the rough overview.
That is indeed a very rough overview.
There's more small details, obviously, but those are the big ones.
Have you, or do you ever feel at all responsible for what happened?
I think I feel responsible for all of it. I know I'm not.
It's just hard to... It's hard to not feel responsible, at least in some way.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
I feel responsible for being the one who got lucky to have the affinities. Because I wasn't the only one. And he got rid of the rest of them. I never even knew them, and I feel guilty about it. I feel guilty for everything I saw him put my mom through. I feel guilty for not being there when she died. For not being there when Corona died, or Noru died. Or Alice. Or Belle. I feel guilty for a lot of things.
It's not always a bad thing to feel guilt over something. It doesn't always have to be a negative feeling. You can take the guilt you feel for something and turn it into a positive and a strength to become better in the end. And from the rough outline that you've laid out for me, it seems like you have started on that very well.
I don't want to be like my father. And even though Corona taught me to do all this, she taught me how to be able to do things that were bad. She wanted me to be good. And that's frustrating, and I don't know how to be.
I think the fact that you're here today sitting in front of me is a very, very clear sign that I personally don't think you will end up like your father.
Where's my phone? Where the fuck?
We don't always do good things all the time. We don't always do things for the right reasons. It doesn't exactly make us a bad person. It just means we've made a bit of a mistake. And we all make mistakes. It doesn't mean we can't fix them or learn from them. It doesn't mean that, we've gone off on a path that's gonna lead us somewhere dark and dangerous. You don't always have to do a bad thing for a bad reason. It can be a bad thing for a good reason, the exact same way you can do a good thing for a bad reason.
I don't know what lesson I'm supposed to learn from everything I've been through. The only lesson I've taken from it is that the world is kind of fucked. For a long time, I just thought I was cursed or some shit. I was just gonna lose everybody.
I think a few things you can probably take from it are you are a lot stronger and a lot more determined than you might think that you are to make it this far through all of that. And that you have been able to find others to help you along the way. You haven't been averse or afraid to seek help from others, which is a great strength to have.
I don't just want to be strong, though. I didn't want to be strong then. My entire life until I was 13 was nothing but pain. I thought I was nothing. The only person... There were only 2 people who ever used my name. I'm lucky I even remember it. I've been broken more times than I can count. And every time I build myself back up, I just end up back there. Back in that cage alone.
Maybe that cage is trying to tell you something. If every time you end up back there, as horrible as that sounds, maybe there is something that is still there that hasn't been resolved, that needs to be figured out before things can move on for you.
I don't think any of that is resolved. At this point, there's only like 3 people, maybe 4, who actually know everything.
I'm willing to become another if you're willing to share. And I can offer whatever help I can in whatever way I can.
I don't know what's supposed to help, though.
A lot of the times we never know what's going to help. That's why things feel hopeless so often. Sometimes the only thing we can do
Hello?
is just try. And if that doesn't work, we have to try something else. And then we just keep trying until we find something that works, even if it's just a little bit. Any progress made is progress, no matter how big or how small.
I just want to feel safe for once. I've only ever felt safe with 3 people. One of them is him. One of them is dead, and the other one, I don't want to keep putting pressure on everybody because I'm broken. Because I feel broken.
I don't really think any of them probably feel any pressure to be there for you, to help you feel safe, just because you're broken. They do it because their heart, their selflessness is choosing to of their own volition, because they care about you. I don't think there's any pressure on them at all.
I'm not here because I feel pressured, Cord. I'm here because I want to be here for you. I want you to get whatever help you need. And I will continue to do so.
Okay.
Any progress is good progress, no matter how small. Nothing can be solved overnight. And it's also a lot easier when you have the help of people who care and support.
What am I supposed to do to fix it or to get further? I don't want to keep going back there. Whenever
I wouldn't even suggest going back there, not until you're ready.
Whenever Umbra, my friend in my brain, she makes my hand whenever she's gone or just doesn't change what my dreams are, I have night terrors about him. I've had them as long as I can remember. The only thing that's ever made them stop is Umbra or spells. I thought all of that was gone. But it's not.
Did any of it lessen when he died? Is that because you don't think he's dead at all?
I don't know if he's dead. Not for sure.
Do you think it would help if you could find an absolute answer to if he's really dead?
I don't know. Him being dead doesn't fix it. It just means it won't happen again.
But that is progress, isn't it? Knowing that it won't happen again. Having that absolute answer of knowing that it won't happen ever again.
I know nobody can hurt me like him. At least I don't think anyone could. I know how to protect myself. But every time I think about him, I don't feel strong. I just feel small again.
Did he make you feel small when you were young? Was that his main method of maintaining control over you?
He made me feel like nothing. That's what he told me I was. He beat me, he screamed at me. He turned my back into some mess. He hurt me in ways I don't know how to talk about.
You don't have to talk about them if you don't want to. I'm not gonna sit here and try and force those out of you. physical and psychological trauma like that at someone with such a young age is something that it is very hard to work through and make progress with, but it is possible. But at that age, it leaves a very lasting mark. I can fully understand why you have such very strong night terrors whenever Umbra or these spells aren't keeping them under control. I can't exactly guarantee that I can fully fix something like that, but I can assure you and promise you that I will help you for as long as it takes, if you're willing to work through them with me. It doesn't have to be today.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to try.
And that's the strength that I was talking about. Not exactly the physical strength, it's the strength to know when you need help. It's that strength to know that you are more than capable of relying on others. Being physically strong can only carry you so much, and so far.
I didn't have that until this year.
Again, that's progress.
I barely ever talk about any of this unless I'm just blowing up, screaming. I still have to try so hard to control my reactions. There's only a few people I'm okay with touching me. Everyone else, I hate it. Somehow
It's an
even
understandable reaction with what you've gone through.
don't want that though. I don't want to feel like that anymore.
It's gonna take time to work through something like that. It's not an easy thing to work past because of what you've experienced in your life, but it is something that you can overcome. And we can work for that. We can work for that goal.
What do we do for that?
It can be any number of things. We can, for something like that, just the aversion to touch from others. You can work on it with people that you are close to and then slowly work towards a more outward social circle, I guess would be the best way to put it. And just slowly work towards that.
And what do I do when I freak out about it?
Well, I would suggest starting with taking a couple steps back. Have some deep breaths, sort of clear your mind. Remind yourself that the person is someone that you know and someone that you currently trust. And it's going to lessen the further out in that social circle that you get more towards, random strangers. Although, I would advise against just jumping straight into that or, working towards that too quickly. But even when you get to that point, start with something simple, something like a handshake or something like that. It doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be a hug. It doesn't have to be anything, more intimate between friends and things like that. It can be anything. It could be a high five. It could be a fist bump. You can work on it in whatever way that's most comfortable.
I guess I'm confused, to some degree.
In what way?
I don't like being touched, but I want to be. Once I finally feel safe with someone, it's all I want.
Much like right now.
I believe that is danger.
I don't
Something
understand
like
what that.
that will probably come from it. Yeah.
I don't understand like what that means or.
Being comfortable enough to feel safe, to be touched, to be held, feel comforted is something that's going to come from reaching that level of trust with a person. And it's probably not going to be all that easy with what you've been through. And I think there's probably more than just, 2 or 3 people. It's just going to take time to find that trust with the others.
Right now, I really only feel okay with a few people. Mostly
It's perfectly fine.
just Kleptis and I'm sure you've met her before. Her name is Percy. Or Persephone.
Yes.
I've known her for a long time. I think since I was 14. Maybe a little older, but I think 14.
So my question to you then is it more than just those select few people that you want to feel safe with? To be able to not feel uncomfortable when they give you a hug or hold your hand for any reason?
I mean, I don't. It's not that I want, like, anybody to touch me. I just don't want to feel terrified every time somebody does. Or like I want to punch them.
That'll probably take a bit of time to work through and get used to. Because of your father. Because of what he had done.
wasn't. It's not like he. I don't think this came from just him. I mean, he's definitely the worst of it, but I think some guards would. They wouldn't be concerned, but I don't think they thought that it was good. I don't know. They didn't say anything. But the rest reveled in it. So even when I wasn't with him, I'd still get beat up. I'd still be told I was nothing. He was just the only one that really solidified it. That was my whole world until I was 13. That was all I knew existed. That was all I had to look forward to. All I could do was just sit and hope that maybe one day I'd get to go back in a different cage where my mom was. And when I finally got there, she wasn't there. And I knew instantly what happened. And even then, when I got there, all that was left of her was for Noru. I don't even remember what her face looks like.
That is a lot for someone to have to go through at such an age. Were you ever able to give your mother a proper send-off?
only ever had two proper send-offs, I guess. There was a funeral for Coronas and something with Belle, but I don't even know that that's what that was. Or if that just made that one worse. Tissue Chan, come here. Come here, tissue box. One foot has been lost.
There is definitely a lot that will need to be worked through. And it probably won't be easy. And it's probably not going to be something that gets solved quickly on any front, but it will be things that we can work towards coming to terms with, understanding better, and perhaps finding some resolutions with.
So how do we go towards that?
I would say the first step is to pick a spot to start with. Pick an issue to work with. To be the very first part. My suggestion would be that we work with a lot of the trauma that you had as a child. Because a lot of that seems to have a very strong grasp on a lot of the issues that you still currently have.
Okay.
You went through so much, and then it all changed, and it wasn't... I'm just going to assume that it wasn't a soft and gradual transition from having that sort of traumatic childhood to being saved by Aegis. It sort of just happened, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any time to adjust.
There was maybe a month or two where it was just me and Barton and smaller. One of the... He wasn't a part of Aegis, but he brought us groceries and clothes and stuff.
It's still not enough time to sort of comprehend what you had gone through and where things were potentially going to go. Even a transition like that from one lifestyle to another can be traumatic in its own right.
Suddenly, I had a lot of people who said that they would help me or that they wanted to be my family, that they'd tell me I was safe, but I didn't feel safe, and eventually they all died or they left. And I tried to keep giving them chances, and they just kept leaving. At some point, I got so upset, I just ran off, and I lived in Zafira by myself for a while. Honestly, for a long time, until I had Umbra. The only way I wasn't freaking out all the time was alcohol. And then I had Corona, and she helped. Until all of a sudden she was gone. And I couldn't do anything about it.
It feels like you went from a life where there was never going to be someone there to help you, and then being thrown into this entirely new world where everyone kept saying they were there to help. But then one by one, they just disappeared. Until the point where you felt like you were the only one that you could rely on yourself. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
And then Corona comes along, and there's finally someone that does start to help. But then they do just disappear. And you feel like it could have been prevented, but you felt like it was your fault because you couldn't be there.
It wasn't just that. She taught me how to fight and how to do a lot of things. She decided sometime before the first SARS war popped up that she was gonna retire from all of that kind of stuff, and I wasn't entirely serious, but I told her that was boring. And she laughed it off, and she said she wanted to anyways, and then everything with SARS happened, and she went on a mission. I wasn't allowed to go. I stayed back and I fought to defend the Purple Lotus. And I got really hurt. But I kept waiting for her to show up. For them to come back. Everyone else survived except for her. And I know if I was there, I could have helped.
That things might have been different if you'd have been able to go. Do you feel like Corona made you stay back? Maybe to make sure that you didn't end up the same way that she did? Even if there was the slightest possible chance that you could have died?
I don't think she had a choice. I don't know.
Either way, from what you've told me, they sound like they were a wonderful person. And a wonderful person for you.
At the time, she was my whole world. She was the only thing that ever made me feel safe. Even for a minute. For the first time, I had a family, and it wasn't a family that I felt responsible for, that didn't hurt. And I mean, it's not like everything with her was perfect. But it didn't have to be. She knew how much was wrong with me, and she tried to help me anyway. No matter how much I pushed her away, she always came back.
And what about Umbra? You've only mentioned a few things, but they also seem like they're very important to you.
She, I guess are kind of like symbiotic in a way. She came from Corona. She used to be this, these chains she would use. But when she was with Corona, she couldn't talk. Then she came to me. And basically we made a deal if she would help me be stronger. And I would just keep her from dying because she couldn't live outside of someone at the time. Now, at this point, I don't think either of us could really be without the other one. she's, like I said, she's symbiotic. She's the only reason I have a hand right now.
Yeah, I remember seeing it at the onsen.
For a while, we were really very good friends. She was kind of crazy for a while, but I think getting to talk finally, she's slowly mellowed out somewhat. Now we're pretty good friends. She's kind of like a sister, but one that mostly only I can hear and see. Unless we decide to, like, trade places. The other half of the time, she's just a creature.
Mm. That is something I can, oddly enough, very, very much relate with.
You'd be surprised how many people have brain friends.
Yes, I've come to understand that quite a few people do.
Yeah.
It was good to know that I wasn't the only one. I have a feeling I already know the answer to this question, but do you still have that fear that things will just end up continuing the way that they had before? People will come and people will leave. Do you have more trust in the people that are here for you now?
It's gotten a little better, I guess. But still get scared sometimes. I I have a brother somewhat. His name is Fable. He used to be part of Umbra, and they split from each other. Now he walks around like a person. He has his own body. I've almost lost him. I even did lose him once, but I've almost lost him 4 or 5 times. And I only recently lost someone else. The only constant person I've had is Percy and Umbra, and I at least don't think Kleptus is gonna do anything stupid to get himself killed, but I still get scared sometimes. For any of them. Even though I know that that's probably gonna happen, I'm trying to stop pushing people away. Because I don't want to be alone.
It's a definite, understandable fear to have. I think almost anyone would be willing to admit that one thing they do fear is being alone. And I think you've made pretty good progress on allowing yourself to be surrounded by more and more people.
I think I've made at least some progress. When I was first free, I really, besides people that I eventually grew to know, I don't really think I acknowledged anyone else as people. Just faceless things. And at any moment that any of them could hurt me. The only reason I started working for the Lotus was that I wanted to try and be able to get my own things. I had never owned anything. Not until Smaller gave me new clothes. This jacket I've had since then. I can't really close it anymore, but it still mostly fits.
Was it a good feeling to finally have things that were yours, that were things that you got yourself, things that you knew that you finally had?
Yeah. I liked having some kind of control. And I used some of the first bits of money I had to grow flowers because the only thing I knew about naiads was that they took care of flowers. And I wanted so much to be like one of them. That was the only thing then that I thought was good. Because the only thing I knew was good was my mom. And that's what she was. I don't really know anything still about naiads. I don't really think that I am one. I mean, I don't really look anything like one.
I don't think that necessarily disqualifies you.
I mean, I don't know anything about being one. I don't look like one. And I'm at least 2% responsible for their entire race being annihilated, so I don't really think that I am one. I don't even really know what I am.
I think to put it bluntly, you are you. You are whoever you choose to see yourself as. In the same way that I am myself.
It's not. I know who I am.
Yeah.
But humans know that they're humans and that there's others like them. Naiads, as few of them as they are, they know what they are. They know what their people do. They know their history. Devils know what they are. I don't know what I am. I don't want to be a dragon newt because they're fucking terrible. And I'm not a naiad. I joke that I'm a dragon or that I'm a gator dial because I'm part fish and part dragon, so that means I'm an alligator or a crocodile. But that still doesn't. There's still nothing like me. There could have been. But they all died before they could even exist. They didn't have a chance to be anything. And I mean, maybe that's for the best because they would have just gone through everything that I did, but they don't exist.
It's definitely a hard thing to try and come to terms with when you don't feel like you belong in either side of what you are. was sort of wanting to save this question for perhaps a future session, but it's sort of been weighing on me for a little bit. But what I mostly want to know is, why was it your father's actions and his words of calling you worthless and making you feel worthless that struck so hard?
The same things. I think my mom tried to keep him away from me for as long as he could, or as long as she could. But everything he did to her, he did to me. And I don't think I even understood what that was.
Do you still feel that way now? Do you still feel like you're worthless? Do you still feel like his words and his actions still have that power?
Mostly, no. I know that I'm a person. And I know that I'm Cord. I have responsibilities, and there's things only I can do. I'm not nothing anymore.
That's definitely good to hear. I know this is probably a lot for you to deal with, to be able to talk about all of this with me. And I know it's probably very, very stressful and very draining on you. And if you want to, we can absolutely stop here if you want. And we can continue on at a different time. Just because I don't want to push you too far, and I don't want to drain your battery.
Yeah. I think I want to go home.
Yeah. Then we can do that. We can end it here, and you can do whatever you need to do to sort of relax and come back down from all of this, re-find your center, and just calm down.
I just have a question before we go.
Of course.
If I keep coming back, I'll eventually feel better, right?
I certainly think so. It's not exactly going to be easy, and it's not going to be something that we can solve in, a few sessions. It's going to take a while, but I do certainly think that as we work through things, you will start feeling better, yes.
Okay. Can we go back to the shop?
Yeah. I'm gonna head back home.
Okay.
You have my number, which means that if you, at any time, ever need to contact me, even if it's just to talk, I will answer.
Okay.
I pretty much just keep my schedule open because I know there's always going to be a time when someone probably needs me. And that's pretty much what I'm here for. It's what I've chosen to do with my life, is to help others.
I hope you can help me.
I will do everything that I possibly can in order to help.
Okay.
Thank you for this, Miss Amber.
It was my pleasure. Again, that's why I'm here.
Let's get going then.
I'm sorry you had to hear all of that.
Don't apologize for yourself. Not. There's nothing wrong with talking about the things that still hurt you. I want to know so that I can help.
Okay. You just have to promise to tell me if something's wrong too.
I promise.
Do you wanna watch a movie when we get back?
Sure.
Okay.
Any idea what you want to watch?
We can watch one of the really stupid horror movies. Those are always funny.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Watch whatever you want.
Thank you for being there. By the way.
Happy to be there for you, always.
I don't think I could have done it without you being there.
I'll be there for you as much as you need me.
You too.
Let's go back. Oh man.
And how Kleptus knows everything.
Yeah.
I need some water. That was a lot.
Uh-huh.
headset is as dry as it can be. But it is definitely moistened. It's a sad day, but it's a step forward. Because Cord's been holding a lot of that in, especially the big part. You gotta kill Ferb. Phineas, no. Yeah. Alcohol. Sorry for very little communication with the chat, by the way.
Oh boy, that was something.
Yeah. That was a lot. That went about as well as I thought it might go. Storm, I think everybody was crying.
Yeah, I had to mute those. It's a lot of sadness.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That one was heavy.
Okay,
I don't think there was a dry eye. Oh, well, apparently Spy is different. He's dead inside. He can't cry anymore. Sorry. Well, False, you've seen most of this. You've been here for most of it. False is dead inside and he's been watching Cord for nearly 3 years.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 whole years.
3 whole years.
Years of trauma that we're trying to unpack.
Absolutely.
You can fit so much trauma in this baby.
I mean, I've only been watching Cord since just before Corona died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my sad Cord dance. Rizzy was a lot. Esther just wants to join. The ancient texts. The deep lore.
Deep lore.
Klyptus got hit with a lot
That's
of
why
trauma.
Amber's great though.
Amber and Klyptus have been
Exactly.
hit with a large amount of trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, he had some context before, but now it's like, oh, this is all of it.
He had a little he
Yeah.
scratched the surface before, but now he has seen like a large amount of the Cord iceberg. The Cord trauma iceberg has been unleashed.
That's a lot.
Now we just need to take a chisel and turn the iceberg into ice cubes and then put it in a nice lemonade.
Lemonade.
Core trauma is AoE. What the fuck? I'm gonna have to watch a whole ass Disney movie after this. Yeah. This is why I decided to have this be early instead of like 11. Because otherwise,
Exactly.
there would be no post RP recovery time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Amber should talk to Umbra. I don't think that Umbra needs to be unpacked. I think we can leave
Yeah.
that baggage just like right where it is.
It's okay. It's okay. Amber just has a mass murderer in her head. Fine.
I mean, Cord basically does too.
Exactly.
It's fine, it's fine,
They
it's
just
fine.
they just need to talk to each other. They'll get along. great.
Yeah. They need a friend.
Exactly. When Cord comes back for round 2, she's getting a special present.
Ugh. Is it a lemonade?
No.
Damn.
I mean, if it's a house call, she can always bring lemonade with her.
Cord doesn't need a puppy. She has axolotls. She's got so many axolotls.
Axolotls are better than puppies. Come on.
They're squishy puppies.
They're squishy water puppies.
They're squishy water puppies. How could you not love this? Look at it. Just look at him. He's perfect.
Exactly. How could you not love them?
He's perfect. It does not work well with full body though.
No.
There is no point. There is no point to the full body. I think it just scrungles him up a little. I can't remember. I can't see my body. Oh no, I'm still perfectly fine.
For the most part, it dips it into the floor.
Yeah. Just a wee bit.
It's an axolotl with scoliosis.
I got scoliosis. My spine is wiggly. One day, Cord's gonna introduce Kleptus to all the axolotls. There's so many of them. She's gonna be like, Kleptus, you gotta meet them all. Here's all their names, their favorite treats,
I'm not gonna remember all their names. I'm not gonna remember all their favorite treats.
and here's the big boy. Cause there's one like gargantuan axolotl.
I'll
It
probably
has been
remember this
determined.
one.
Yeah. Big boy. Big boy.
The big boy.
The big boy. I need to make his model. I just need to basically take this model and make it fatter
Just upscale.
and then bigger. And now he's gotta be chunky too. He's gotta be a chunker.
Exactly.
It's gotta be an
Big, chunky
absolute
axolotl.
unit. gotta be big boy. And I need to like lower the pitch of the wow. So it goes like, instead of wow, it goes wow. I don't think Cord does remember the names. I think Cord probably has collars on them bitches. Or tags or something with their name on it. I doubt she remembers them all.
It's just a fucking post-it note list.
She's like, that's Bob, Bob 2, Bob 5, Bobbert, Samantha. Boop him. Boop his nosy.
That's great.
Yes.
Psychic friend, friend bear.
You have a psychic friend, friend bear. I like to look at him real close. Hello, Bio, thank you for gifting a sub. Jared, thank you for subbing. Dave, thank you for gifting a sub. To Boobies. Dave, thank you for a sub.
When someone enters
Wait, thank you for gifting a sub. To Mary.
Suddenly, it's a three-way conversation.
Yeah. Don't you look at me with them big old eyes. Or if it's Cord, then you get a four-way conversation.
Then we get a four-way conversation.
Yeah. Wee. Yeah. He barks. I die. No! I need money for tissue. I need money for college. Okay. I'm gonna pop out and go
Yes.
watch a Disney movie.
Put on Disney movie.
Disney movie. And then
They made a new Night at the Museum movie.
oh,
Did they?
oh,
Yeah, it's an
Ah!
animated movie, and it's his son. His son becomes the new Night Guard. Yeah.
I'ma turn that on in the collective. I'ma turn it on.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. I'ma get some ice cream though, cause I need it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, go get ice cream.
Thank you, Kaiwo, for subbing. Scarlett, are you gonna go over to the Aegis lobby? I don't know if it's happening.
I am, yes.
Have fun.
I think it is happening. I will.
Scarlett, get her, get her,
Started 'cause
get her.
there's not enough people, so you might want to get over there.
Yes.
You shall help contribute to them starting.
I will help contribute to them
Yes.
starting. Let me just.
And then be able to sit there and be like, oh, I heard a lot of shit
Yeah.
today. Just walk outside, grab a bottle of alcohol, just be like,
No, she's just gonna grab 2 cheesecakes and just go.
just Slade's gonna walk over and be like,
Exactly.
so you talked to Cord.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for staying. I hope you had an interesting time today.
I'm gonna head over there.
Goodbye,
I'll see you
Gobos.
guys.
Bye bye.